Well, hello, Age of Nations audience members. This is Daniel DanQ Quick, creator and producer of the series, and with me is
DarkCloud. And I'm in charge of, well, I wouldn't call it in charge of, but I do a lot of the editing over what Dan's written. I also wrote episode 102 and 103, and I'm the voice of Jason. I'm also the voice of Terrawalkwoman, and I'm TIECOON. So you might remember me from all those places. Back over to you, Dan.
Yes, thank you. You keep me on the straight and narrow, along with Illuminatus, the other co-executive producer, and Stan, who filmed this episode once again. I love the credits that have my name on it, though. No, okay, that's totally irrelevant. Anyway, we're here in the opening scene in episode 108. There's Maven, voiced by Wendy Foster. You know, I think it's worth mentioning that a lot of the voice actors that we've had come on the series had never actually heard of a Polton before, and found the site just out of interest for voice acting, or actually I can't even get a couple of them to tell me where they found this, but it's great to have them aboard.
Well, that's good to know that the reach of Apolitan's Machinima is far and wide across the internet.
Yes, and we're not popular, but we're semi-known. Anyway, that's good to know. That's good to know, and I think once again in 108 the production values have really gone a long way. And just looking at this episode again, very recently I noticed we'll see in some of the live actor shots, Stan has actually input stills of buildings that appear in Age of Nations as part of the background, which I hadn't noticed before. And if I think of it again and I see it, I'll mention it as we see it on screen. There's
I think he has it in this.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. In like the scenes with Lookout in them.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. He didn't tell me he was going to do that. I guess he wanted to see how long it would take me to find it. Well, Stan, it only took me about 5 or 6 times watching it. Shows how observant I am. See, folks, that's why I have DarkCloud and Illuminatus edit what I do all the time, because there are these things I miss. And there's Trigger once again, and the live actor we see for Trigger actually helped out with the editing once again on an ongoing basis. Helped Stan. I mean, the production time in terms of filming is about a quarter or less of what it was for the first 2 episodes. And,
yeah, I remember Stan writing in this. Hey, yes, I remember Stan writing on the boards that if it had stayed as long as it was for the first 2 episodes, he probably wasn't going to still be doing it. So that's a good improvement.
Yes, we're very happy for that. And so, you know, speaking of voice actors, I hear you have some stories there, DarkCloud, about people you know and the greetings you receive these days.
Oh, yes. I was in there recording some of my lines. I always take about like 6 or 7 takes, so I may have a friend over or something and just be like, okay, well, I just want to go do a few takes or something like that. Or sometimes I won't even tell them that I'm doing it. Those are the interesting times. Yes, actually, there were some people out on our porch once when I was recording for TIECOON's voice, and I forget exactly what lines I was saying, but it was in this episode, yelling about something, and suddenly I just hear them out on the porch just say, "What the heck is that?" And now let's just say that the word heck is being substituted for something that I'd probably rather not say online here. But yeah, and then of course one of my friends, he walked in when I was going, "Hi, I'm TIECOON." So now he always greets me that way. He also seemed to really like Jason's line. That was actually the first one he heard. I was watching one of my shows in the thing and showing him it, and then he's like, "Wait a second, that's your voice?" I'm like, "Yeah." So now every time he sees me, he's like, "Enough!" And I guess that's Jason's tagline now. Every time I do some editing on the pieces you've got, I try to throw in those 2 lines. I'm just because my friend likes him so much.
So we have another a new member of the Age of Nations audience, do we?
Yeah, he watches it whenever I'm around. He says he'll go look at it on his own, but nah. But every time he's over here, he always enjoys seeing it and laughing. He finds it very amusing.
Good
Maybe he should audition for a line. I think we're gonna have some characters in some upcoming episodes we could use some new voice acting talent for.
Yeah, I'll try to talk
say,
him
hey,
into
that's
that.
my voice.
I'll try to talk him into that.
And then you can say, I heard you recording your line, and then when he greets you with your character's line, you can do the same with one of his.
Yeah, I can make fun of him just as much as he ribs me.
That did not come out right.
I do perfectly well of making fun of myself, particularly the Marsh voice. It's very hard on the throat. So I guess one of the reasons why I like the addition of so many other characters, because Marsh doesn't have as many lines as he used to. Which he's upset about. He's told me he's very upset he doesn't get as much airtime.
Oh well, he's got other people behind him. He's got VIRTU and Trigger to replace him at any moment.
Yes, he does. He needs to be very careful. And right now we're seeing the second Greek city, Sparta, really coming into its own, as Trigger said. So much for the criticism of Intrepid and Lookout and choosing the site. Has to show them.
It has some really nice backgrounds.
He means best for him.
I'm just trying not to be too mesmerized by the windmill there. Round and round.
Marshmallow, it pleases me so
to
hear
you
okay.
talk Had me in a trance there. Good. I'm glad the scene changed. And we got some more people walking in the background there. That had been filmed. And some people are wondering, where did you get all these extras? Well, who you see in the background, they actually are the live actors for other characters. But when you put a mask on someone, whether it's plastic or cloth or what have you, boom, they're another character. I mean, you make use with what you have.
Yep.
And we're still working on the blue bath towels. I know we've seen a lot of green. Blue was suggested. We're looking into it.
Heading in.
No guarantees, though. And as a matter of fact, as we just saw behind TIECOON there, that the skies looked a little nasty.
I hear you loud and clear.
I actually told Stan that was a neat effect, and he said, Dan, that was actually an accident. And I said, oh, well,
get a move on.
a few more of those accidents would help, because, of course, in Age of Nations, day and night are the same. Not that we've really ever had a night setting before in the script. Maybe that's something to consider in the future, just to throw people off. Nighttime, what are they talking about? Look at all the light.
Oh well.
I was taken care of.
And what's actually interesting, it is easier to coordinate the movements of the live actors than the actors on screen. Sometimes when we write things in the script, even I'm not thinking about the practicality of it sometimes, and sometimes Stan will be like, Dan, I tried to get them to do that, but it was really difficult to get them to move in such a short period of time, and of course you get the idle animations, which are sometimes very humorous, sometimes annoying.
Well, I particularly like
we've got
the punching animation.
Yes, and I also like how we can see the characters behind the buildings lit up.
What are you talking about? Lit up?
Like that. Well, not lit up, but because you can't see them because they're behind an object, but then they appear in red.
Oh, yeah.
Red, so you can still see what they're doing.
Okay.
See what they're doing? It makes me wonder what they're eating and drinking. Might be a serious health problem.
Okay.
Maybe there's something to explore later on. No.
Yes, hidden secrets of the Rise of Nations, Age of Nations.
And in voicing Sage here, that's actually my voice, in case anybody didn't bother to look at the credits. Shame on you.
Not quite tomorrow, but soon.
And that's now the third character that I voiced, except for extras here and there, kind of, one-off.
And then, of course, everyone in episode number 1.
Back.
Yes.
Which we don't talk about,
Yes,
right?
there was that. That's right, not implied.
Yeah, but at least you have the remastered version coming out soon.
Yes, and by the time people hear this commentary, it will have already been released. Sorry for the scoop, folks. We took it away from you.
Silly Simons. Well, the proper term is mounted.
And there's Intrepid. Oh, on the return of the green bath towels. Wonderful.
You never said nothing before.
Wonderful.
I thought we was friends.
And
This has nothing to do with our...
what are they building here? Progress. I don't know, some people might say, well, guys, can't you get rid of that little progress bar, because, you wouldn't see that in real life. But you know what, that would require some editing that would need to be done frame by frame or some equivalent. And we've done really well in keeping to our production schedule
Sounds like that.
in terms of release dates every 3 weeks or so, with the exception of a couple of hiatuses, including the one between 107 and the release of this episode. And unfortunately, we have these things called jobs, and making money. And
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
unfortunately, if we could spend more time doing this, if somebody wanted to pay us to do this, hey, get in contact with us, sponsor it. That'd be great. Wouldn't that be great, DarkCloud? That would really
I'm
help
sure Stan would really enjoy that.
out.
Somehow I think he'd be the only one who get hired. Well, I mean, maybe you too, because you do a lot of video post-production editing. They'd probably,
Yes, that would be
they'd probably fire the rest of us.
Give answer on my own.
Then again, there's Dan
My little
Rodriguez. He's the professional voice actor, so I think he'd stick around too.
Time for the cavies too.
I think so. I think so as well. And you know that last scene with Intrepid and Lookout, I really liked having that scene, that kind of interplay that we've seen since the first episode. It had been a while since they had that. And we also get more reference to Lookout's family. But here we've got kind of a turnaround with VIRTU agreeing with Marshmallow on the course of action, which a couple of episodes ago we had a different situation with another general saying that they believe something and somebody else saying that they disagreed with. And the reason I'm saying some other general disagreed with and some other general was saying something is because I can't remember exactly the names. I'm trying to cover it up.
He said that she said who he said. I see it's one of those situations.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Both the British and the Egyptians.
Exactly what it is. And we apologize for the view of the horses' backsides, folks, but, you know, we didn't zoom in very closely, okay? It's not particularly rude. Not that we've had any... I don't anticipate we'll have any complaints.
You notice that they're waving their tails?
So we have been through before.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that.
Well,
That's pretty impressive.
I guess, you know,
We are better off to
maybe they're trying to get some more screen time, saying, see, look what I can do!
They're mugging the shot. They're mugging the shot there.
Yes, they are.
My men
That's
and
some nerve.
are a sufficient number to accomplish
Some
the
nerve.
task.
And since you are a voice actor amongst many other things, DarkCloud, I'm tripling your pay, by the way. It's kind of a running theme
Well, 3
here
times
now.
0
I
is
forget who I
still
made that.
0.
Does not exactly resemble
Yeah, you're the
the
first voice actor to actually say that in the commentary. But that's good to point out. But hey, it's 3 times.
Mhm.
Sounds impressive.
Might as well make it 4 times though in that case.
Although
that lookout accompany
well, maybe I
Yeah.
should make it 5 times because I mean you do more than just the voice acting.
Yeah.
That's true. You should give credit where
Mhm.
credit is due here.
but not your spade. Lookout is to get
Well, if we made it 42 times, then we'd have the answer to everything.
Nothing is amiss. You follow.
Agreed.
And there's the lieutenant walking on screen there, and we have the return of the voice actor Tony Dew, who was actually the first voice actor we had, who appeared in an episode. He'll be back, I'm sure. He agreed to fill in. I just contacted him and said, hey, we've got another part for you for your character if you're interested. And within a few days, I had the lines.
Nice.
And we have this battle scene here. And of course, we assume that people who are listening to this commentary have already watched the episode, so yes, this is one of those TBCs, to be continued. I curse them when I see them, but
They're necessary
it
sometimes.
just makes you... Yes, they are. And we assure you that the conclusion for this is not, oh, well, we're going to resolve it in the first 10 or 15 seconds of the next episode. Not true. Not true. I think to this point, VIRTU has had some very... measured and calculated decisions, but this one kind of backfires.
I really like the bows and
Just a
arrows. I think Stan really outdid himself getting those.
Yeah, it really helps with the visuals and the action.
And then the music in the background.
That's me. That's me. Actually, you know, since this is the 4th episode now that we've had music in the episode that was more than just the theme, I think I've pretty well used all of the songs, including those that appear in the Thrones and Patriots expansion pack for Rise of Nations. Even though the series is strictly filmed in Rise of Nations, it does not include any part of the expansion pack. And that line of "now" that was Abraham, voiced by Kyle Xnay Stadler. Oh yes, I only gave him one line. He didn't say he wanted more, but I could tell. Oh, and there's the "to be continued" line. Ooh, what does the future hold? I don't know. Well, DarkCloud, thanks very much for joining me.
Well, it was all my pleasure. I really enjoyed finally being able to get a Skype call working.
Yes, we're sure to do this again, and keep watching, folks.